Hey everybody, it's time for your dog culture fact check. Fact check false, brought to you by Dog Culture. Today, we're going to have a look at our pregnant mothers. Here we have a picture of a pregnant mother. This picture is from an article that I will put in the description. The article is about Do Dogs Detect Pregnancy? Um, First off, who cares? We have medical devices and we have our beautiful mothers. They can figure out if they're pregnant. Um, so let's look at this picture and let's have a look at what's going on here. First off, we have a barking dog. The dog might be yawning, but it looks like it's barking. A yawning dog has a different face. This dog is looking forward. It's not in a relaxed state. So the dad is taking care of the dog, and the mom's over here pregnant. This doesn't make any sense. This looks like some propaganda. What about the little baby? What about the little baby in here? The little baby in there, he's trying to form his heart valves and his spine. He's trying to form his adrenal glands. And he can't do that as well if he's stressed, if he's listening to that barking. If he feels the stress that the mom is feeling from the barking, that's also damaging to the baby. And what is the dad doing? I think we can assume this is the dad. Here's the wedding ring, so they're at least married. It appears to be a wedding ring right here. What should the dad be doing? In my opinion, the dad should be over here. See how the mom has shoulders? Now, when you're pregnant, you're under more stress. So the dad should be over there saying, "Hey, honey, how are you doing today? Hey, can I give you a little neck rub? Hey, how about I make us some dinner?" Instead, he's over there spoiling the dog. And what's he going to be doing later? He's probably going to be running around scooping up dog turds. Right now, his hands are all over the dog's feet. The dog's feet have all kinds of nasty germs on them. I'll put a link in the description about that. And so this picture, this is just child neglect. This is child abuse. There's no reason to sit here and let your dog bark at your pregnant wife. You should be over there taking care of your pregnant wife, not spoiling that dog. So here is our prevailing culture. We're constantly putting pregnant mothers with dogs. Here is one for you guys. According to this, exposure of prenatal babies to dogs boosts their immunity against obesity and other allergic diseases. Fact check false. So let's go on a fact check mission. You guys ready? Okay, well, the whole thing about obesity, childhood and adolescent obesity has reached epidemic levels in the United States. Obesity can affect all aspects of the children, including their physiological. So, obesity is at an epidemic level. That doesn't make any sense. That must mean that we need more dogs, right? We need more dogs to fix this obesity. Yeah, that's the problem, you guys. That's the problem. We need more dogs to fix this obesity. Okay, okay. Um, Fact check false. Pet ownership is jumped significantly over the past decades, up 56%. That's up from 56% in 1988, and right now we're at 66%. So everybody has at least one dogs, many, many more. I'll put this article in the description. So according to the logic of dog culture, with this huge jump in dog ownership, we should be having all kinds of amazing health benefits. However, it's the complete opposite. So, lies on children. They call it more good news for dog lovers. Excuse me? Wow. You guys have no problem making children suffer, lying to your pregnant mothers. Nice one. Well, they also say it's going to help with allergies, right? So maybe I was wrong. Maybe the obesity thing, maybe that's just like a fluke. All right, let's pull up some articles from several different sources. Large medical sources and small clinics, all the same thing. Allergies on the rise in U.S. kids. Look at all these articles. Trends in allergic conditions. All this information is out there. Kids are getting more and more allergic problem. food allergies, more and more allergies with more and more people. So the dog culture has lied to us. Now, you probably noticed in the picture that I showed you guys in the beginning that the dog was barking at the pregnant mother. Well, noise in reproductive health, terrible for your baby. Terrible, terrible, terrible for your baby. I'll put this article in the description, but it's pretty conclusive. They don't mention dogs, but they ought to, because people are around barking dogs all of the time. Back to our pictures for a moment. Here's a common picture. We got one dog, two dogs. It looks like three dogs, and this woman is pregnant. How quiet do you think that house is? Do you think that provides a quiet, noise-free house for the pregnant mother? No way. See that little dog right there? See the shininess in his eyes? These little types of dogs go blind all the time, and then they start barking randomly at sounds. And when one little dog barks, the other dog barks. And that affects the cortisol of the mother. And once the baby's ears start to develop, the baby hears that noise too. And it very much affects the baby's prefrontal lobe, the baby's spine, the baby's heart, the baby's adrenal glands. And so having dogs around a pregnant mother can be a very terrible thing. Again, a common thing. Mommy and daddy are getting us a human. How quiet do you think that house is going to be? 1, 2, 3 dogs? All it takes is for one of those dogs to bark at some random thing, and all three of them will be barking. Here are some searches from different sources. Parental stress can program a child's brain for later health issues. If a mom is anxious, if the mom is experiencing high levels of cortisol, you don't want to be around a barking dog during pregnancy. And it's not just the barking of the dog. The fact that the dog is there in your life means something else. What does it mean? It means your husband over here, who's supposed to be concerned about taking care of you and going out of his way to tolerate the stress of the pregnancy, instead of going out of his way to give you a neck rub or go cook you up some French toast with pickle juice, like how pregnant mothers will have crazy cravings, I want a peanut butter banana sandwich with instead of this guy being the best dad he can for the pregnant woman, he's going to be over here spoiling the little pupper. That father probably goes on Facebook and sees this meme, and he's like, yeah, right, ha ha ha. My wife is so crazy. She's pregnant. She's acting so crazy. I'm going to go pet the dog. I'll bet you so many husbands out there see this type of meme and they do that. How about this meme? I'm suspicious of people who don't like dogs, but I trust a dog. Do you think that little baby that's in the mom's womb that has to listen to that barking, do you think that's good for the baby? Do you think the baby would agree with this meme? No. And I bet that dad that's sitting there petting up on the dog, ignoring his pregnant wife, I bet he saw this meme on Facebook and put a bunch of heart replies under it. This propaganda that dog culture pushes out preys on the attention that should be given to our pregnant mothers. Here's an example I talked about before. This couple from Tennessee. All the attention they give these dogs. Dressing them up like nannies, putting a little picture of the sonogram, nanny duty. When these couple, before the baby was born, they probably sat around, listened to those dogs bark, petted up on them, got all the quick hits of dopamine from petting up on the dogs, which also is a terrible thing for the baby's brain. And then the babies are born into a world where those babies should have looked at these dogs and in their brain thought like, oh, that's not good. I shouldn't be around those dogs. But these parents, by giving themselves all this dopamine and cortisol and everything else from loving up on these dogs, they've screwed up their baby's brain, and their babies don't understand that this is a fanged predator. And I'll put the story in the description, but this is the summary. The 2 children are deceased because of the dogs. Now the dogs had to be put down, and the wife was nearly killed. All because of this person wanting to get a bunch of dopamine from, look at me, I love bulldogs, I love pit bulls. These 2 kids At the ages that you see in these pictures, they're smart enough to look at something and realize if it's a danger. But when they were in the womb of this mother, their brains did not develop properly to realize that these are nasty dogs, because this man and woman sat there and kissed up on these dogs the whole time. And the dopamine and cortisol and serotonin that was flowing through the mother from petting up on these dogs, it got into these kids' brains and programmed them to think that these are furry little hug bunnies, and they're absolutely not. Now, somebody posted these pictures up recently. Yeah, this is modern dog culture. Loving up on a dog, and over here ignoring your little kid. This picture right here, this is like modern dog culture. You got the woman up here looking at dogs on Facebook, posting up those stupid memes, a little chihuahua, or some other barking dogs in the background. And here's the little kid over here. Gee, mom, I'd like to go on a little road trip and learn about history, and I'd like to do other stuff. And when this kid gets older, he's seeing his mom be all sweet up on dogs. When this man or woman gets older, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to ignore his girlfriend, boyfriend. He's going to ignore his wife and husband because he sees his mom do this all day. And so even the children that are born, they're getting just pile driven by this nasty dog culture. Here is our Bernard family, and like I was talking about, when the parents are constantly hugging up on dogs and getting their oxytocin and all these hormones boosted in their body from dogs, that's affecting the developing mind of your little kid. And so here is the wife. You see how kissy, almost sexual she is with her dogs. When she's doing that, the hormones in her body, they're flowing through the brain of her child. They're flowing through the developing brains of the young babies. And those brains are taking in all of that stuff. Those brains are hearing the barking, they're feeling the hormones that are dog generated, not human generated. And so when these little guys are born, their eyes and their ears and their senses inside of their prefrontal lobe, they're already being programmed to think, oh, it's okay just to get up on these dogs and hug up on them. And guess what happens to them? We all know what happens to them. The link will be in the description. Birth defects. I'll put the link to this article in the description. Many birth defects that are related to extra stress or improper neurotransmitters in your brain, many of them are related to all of these rising birth defects. I'm going to put this study in the description too. This talks about verbal abuse during pregnancy. In verbal abuse, it's very similar to barking. And a woman can do something about the verbal abuse. The woman can yell at the dogs to shut up, which also increases cortisol, sadly. But at least the woman can do something about it. But the baby can't do anything about it. The verbal abuse, that sudden loud noise, and then the stress hormones being in the bloodstream, that is not good for the baby. So just barking in general is not going to be good for the baby because it's very similar to verbal abuse. And it's already been proven that verbal abuse during pregnancy causes all kinds of problems, depression, other things like that. So if you're pregnant and you're going around having to yell shut up at dogs, or you're having to deal with barking dogs, you're verbally abusing your baby and setting them up for just a future of sadness, depression, and health issues. This one will be in the description too. It talks about babies, how they can hear in the womb. One of the things it talks about in here and the other studies, it's how the babies learn to respond to the voices from their parents. And so if you're a little baby and you're inside of the womb of your mother and you're constantly hearing your mom and dad baby talk the dogs, that's not bad for you. All of that, or I'm sorry, that's not good for you. All of that, what's up, little buddy? Do you need another snack? All that baby talk that the parents do to their dogs, that's not good for the baby. You're supposed to speak clearly and speak a good vocabulary and say calming words to your baby. You're not supposed to be baby talking the dog and then hollering at the dog to shut up. And that's the kind of things that these babies hear when they're inside the womb of a dog owner, and it's not good for them. Okay, dog culture. What are you guys going to do? Are you going to address this issue? Are you going to keep ignoring your babies? Are you going to keep ignoring your pregnant mothers? And more being this dude over here. You know what's so sad about this dude right here? He's probably clueless. He probably doesn't know what the epithelial layer is of your throat as he breathes in the pet dander. He probably doesn't know all of the nasty bacteria that are on his dog. He probably thinks that dog barking is cute. Bark, 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 bark. All freaking day with this big dumb smile on his face as he turns off his prefrontal lobe and turns off all of the amazing stuff that he could offer his pregnant wife and dumps all that effort into his dog. This little picture right here is going on, 100,000 fold all over our society, and it's pretty sad. And the little human in there is the one that has to pay the price. So where are my pro-lifers? Where are my Christians? Where are my strong, independent mothers? Where are you guys at? Are you over there petting on your dog, giving him more treats? Because you ought to be talking about this.